What's up everybody, RNC here, back with another video. We're going to be covering the Magicka Sorcerer in this one. It's really strong, this patch, ranged DPS, so let's jump right into it. Looking at the character sheet, on our main bar we're sitting at almost 44k max Magicka, 17k health, with 65% spell crit, and just over 2200 spell damage. I'm using the Thief Wonderstone to buff my crit, max Magicka, max health food, just like all the other Magicka DPS builds. And I am a vampire for the Magicka recovery passive and the undeath passive that I showed in my other videos. 10% max magic recovery and undeath. When you fall below 50% health, you do gain some damage reduction. So that's really nice. It saved me a few times before. Let's get into the pots that I use. Again, same as always, we're using Major Sorcery, Major Prophecy, and Major Intellect. Now you don't really need to make them with Major Prophecy because we are double barring Inner Light. But I just haven't made, and I use the same ones all the time. But you can just have Major Sorcery and Major Intellect with Cornflower and Lady Smock. No need to use Water Hyacinth if you don't want to. Let's get into the gear. So our main 5 set, again, is going to be Burning Spellweave. Now, there are a few nice options for the Sorc. Burning Spellweave does a lot of damage. It is putting out the most so far. All Light Divines. Another really nice DPS that you can use on a Sorc is Scathing Mage. Only problem is there is a 6-second cooldown. But it is stronger than Twiceborn and Julianos for sure. Just as strong, maybe a little bit weaker than Burning Spellweave. And then lastly, the good old Twiceborn Star. It always performs well. If you need a little bit of extra health, I do recommend using this. So if you're doing like harder trials that you're not used to, I would go with Twiceborn Star over Burning Spellweave and Scathing Mage. The DPS loss is not major. There is a little bit of a DPS loss, but again, it's not major enough to make that big of a difference. Our off piece, our offset is Infallible Aether. I'm using Infallible Aether on all of the jewelry. Minor Slayer is really important, especially in Trials and Dungeons this patch, so make sure you use that. All spell damage enchanted. And I am using an Infallible Aether Lightning Staff on my front bar. Now, this is a really rare drop. You have to farm AA and Helra for the drop. It's tough to get. Another really nice option is Moondancer. I only have a nice staff, but if you have a lightning or a flame staff, you can use that as well with Moondancer jewelry. Or an Infallible Aether Inferno staff with a weapon damage enchant and spell damage enchant as well. So you can use, this is best in slot, this is best in slot, Moondancer is best in slot. If you don't have any of those, I would recommend just using a crafted or a willpower lightning staff or a flame staff. I do like lightning staffs because they provide some AoE, and if you do run low on resources, you can just spam heavy attack and do quite a lot of damage. It's pretty OP. But pure single target Inferno staffs do a lot more damage. On my back bar, I have a Maelstrom Inferno staff. Again, if you don't have a Maelstrom Inferno staff, you can just simply use an Aether staff or a crafted staff. But Maelstrom Inferno Sharpen is best in slot to buff those light attacks and medium moves. And lastly, we're using Lambris. This set is really strong on a ranged Magicka character, especially the Sorc. Reason why is because we can double proc shock and flame damage. So when you deal flame damage or shock damage, you have a 10% chance to summon Meteor Shower that deals 1771 damage to all enemies in 4 meters. This can occur every 8 seconds, and even with the cooldown, it's really strong. So the Lambris can proc off of your Liquid Lightning, off of your Blockade, off of your Flame Staff Weaves, and off of your Lightning Staff Weaves. So when we do our rotation, light attack, boom, light attack, boom, it already had 4 chances to proc. So it's really strong. And it allows you to be ranged, so this set is quite OP. If you don't have Alambris, you can use Scoria, but again, just farm Alambris. It's really good. Let's get into the skills. So our main bar, Inner Light. This is a given, 5% max magic plus 2% from the Mage's Guild passive, which is right here. It's called Magicka Controller, which gives you 10% with any slotted Magicka ability, Mage's Guild ability. Our next skill is Bound Aegis. This is a toggle, so we have to double bar it. You toggle it off or on, and then it gives you Minor Ward, which is pretty nice. Increases physical and spell resistance. Most importantly, it increases your max Magicka by 8%, which is why we have a 44k max Magicka pool. It's really strong. This is a must-have. Vicious Curse. A lot of people haven't used this in a while, but one, it's a really strong single target dot. Two, it's a really strong AoE dot. So this is a must-have. Use it, keep it up in your rotation. Crystal Frags, this thing hits like a monster. Only use it when you proc. So you see my hands glow up like that, that means hit the frag. Don't just hard cast it, it's really not a good idea. It doesn't hit very hard, takes too much time. So only cast it when you see the proc in your hands. And then Force Pulse is your regular spammable DPS ability. You will spam this until you see the Crystal Fragments proc, as I'll show you later in the video. And then lastly is a Shooting Star. Again, we use this in long single target boss fights. It is more damage than any other ultimate because it gives you ultimate back every single time you drop it. And then of course you get the Mage's Guild passive, the 2% max Magicka. Our off bar. Again, we're double barring Inner Light. As I've mentioned before in my previous videos, there is a bug. If you take off Inner Light off your back bar, you lose the crit puff. You lose the Minor Prophecy, even if you use it with a spell pot. Second, Bound Aegis, as we mentioned before. It's a toggle, so I have to double bar it. Number 3 is Blockade of Fire. This is a no-brainer. This is the hardest hitting dot in the game for Magicka class. It's really strong. Liquid Lightning, a nice ground AoE as well. Keep it up the whole time. And lastly, Mage's Wrath. Now, Mage's Wrath is not the best execute in the game. Use it 20% or less. But usually in hard mode trials, I would swap this for either Hardened Ward if our healers are good at keeping our Magicka up, or Harness Magicka if your healers are not as good at keeping your Magicka up. I usually run Hardened Ward. It's a bigger shield, keeps me safe because our healers are really good at sustaining our Magicka. Reason why I would never take this off, I would never take off Inner Light for the ward and keep it like this is because it is a DPS loss, especially during execute phase. If you hit the pot, there's our Major Prophecy. Our spell crit is at 65%, looking good. We swap bars. Now Major Prophecy is given to us by Inner Light. It's no longer given to us by a pot, so it's taken over the pot. Still at 65%, looking good. But I swap. Now we're at 55% and the Major Prophecy is gone. So that is why we get rid of the execute instead of Inner Light on our back bar for the shield. So if you need a shield, get rid of execute. It's not that important. It doesn't hit that hard. It's much more important to keep Inner Light on your back bar. Lastly, Fury Rage. This thing is absolutely broken. Again, this is an absolute monster of an ability. Use it at the beginning of every single boss fight. Right away, drop it on them. It's a 7-second crazy dot. I've had 41 or 42k ticks off of this in trials with all the buffs up. And then afterwards, just drop meteors on cooldown on long boss fights. On all AoE trash fights, especially Maw of Lorcage, you drop this, it's huge AoE, everything just smells. So use this on trash and AoE for sure. So that's it for the skills. Let's go over the champion points. Green Tree, simple, 100 Magician. Resident Arcanist. Blue tree is a little bit more complex. We have 100 Elemental Expert. This buffs all of our damage abilities. 58 Elfborn. Again, we are a crit build, so we want to stack this as much as possible. And 1 into Spell Erosion. The rest we do put into Thaumaturge because we do run quite a few dots. Red tree, as always, it is very, very situational. Now, the way I would set it up for Maw of Lorcage, I'll show you right now. I would put 27 points in a Bastion. I usually keep these anytime I play with a shield. 27 into Hardy, and the rest of my points usually go into Thick Skin because there is some dot damage in Maw of Lorcage if you get hit by archers, or if the cats start mauling on you, or when the void starts hitting you from the middle. And then of course 100 Elemental Expert. If I was doing something like Sanctum, I would do an even split because there's both poison, physical, and elemental damage, so it's very important to keep both of those up. But it's really up to you. It's very, very situational. For overall gameplay, I would probably go with something like this. I would just do an even split between Elemental Defender and Hardy. I would just put 80 and 80 and have it work just like this. So this would be just fine for usual trial gameplay. Nice and safe. Okay, so let's go with the rotation. We're buffing up, empowering our heavy attack with the inner light first. As soon as the heavy attack goes down, we're dropping our Destro ulti to start the boss fight. Liquid Lightning, Blockade, cancel with the bar swap, then apply Curse. Light attack, damage filler, light attack, we see the proc frag, then light attack, Force Pulse. After 3 weaves, we apply another Curse and then do 1 more weave, whether it's Force Pulse or Curse, and then easy start over. That's Liquid Lightning, Blockade, apply Curse, 3 weaves, that's 1, 2, 3, no frag procs there. And we apply Curse again, there's the frag proc, so we're going to shoot that instead of Force Pulse. And then we restart again. Liquid Lightning, Blockade, Curse, 1 weave, 2 weave, 3 weave. As soon as you see the frag proc, throw it, ignore the rotation. Then we apply Curse again, and then 1 weave. The frag is a priority. It does a shit ton of damage, so do prioritize that over keeping a perfect rotation. Before we get to execute, during AoE fights, all we have to do is put down Liquid Lightning, put down Blockade, apply Curse, and do a fully charged heavy attack with a Lightning Staff. As soon as you do 1 Lightning Staff heavy attack, apply Curse, and charge the Lightning Staff heavy attack 1 more time. When you see the boss get to below 20%, the rotation becomes Liquid Lightning, Blockade, and then 6 weaves with Mage's Wrath if you do have it. If you don't have Mage's Wrath equipped because you had to put on a shield, just stick with the basic rotation the whole way through, the whole fight through. So it's Liquid Lightning, Blockade, and then you do 6 weaves with the Mage's Wrath until the boss is dead. So that's it for the build, guys. Again, Magicka Sorcerer is very, very strong this patch, especially for being an absolute range DPS. If this video helped you out, you liked it, make sure you hit the like, subscribe button, and we'll see you next time for another build video. See you soon. Bye-bye.